Hey there, Richard Matharoo here. Welcome to Success by Design, manufacturing huge scale in your network marketing business in 2023. So let me just go to the slideshow here and we can get started. I like to be direct and just get dived straight in. So before we start, there's nothing for sale here. There's also nothing promoted. This is about me helping you do better in the business that you're already in, maximizing the potential there. Also, you can access these slides as you go along. You'll see there's exercises to complete. There's things you may say, you know what, I wish I could print that, put it out on my wall or my office. I'll give you the ability to do that. There's no charge, no hoops to jump through. I'll literally send you direct access for free so you can download them and have your own copy. Now, there's no guarantees or hype. I'm not that guy that's going to jump on here and be like, hey, this is what's going to happen. And I just don't do that. I'd rather just give you the process that I've personally used in the field, in the exact business that you're in, that's allowed me to go from zero to growing hugely successful network marketing business and online educational businesses as well. This is going to be for you if you have ambition and a desire to grow your business significantly in 2023. No toe dippers. If you want to go all in, you want to really change things and improve, I believe I'm your guy. And this could be if you're wanting to have your first big breakthrough. I'd love it if this was something in the future you look back on and you say, man, something about the guy's voice, something about how direct he was. I watched the training, I applied it, and man, that was a turning point for me. Or maybe you're already someone that's a leader that has initial promise and that hasn't really gone to the levels you hoped it for. There's some kind of glass ceiling you can't seem to break. Hopefully I can help you break through and smash any stubborn plateau, as I have used this process to do countless times in my own business. My desired outcome, I put a lot of work into this. I want at the end of this training for you to feel, Richard, I have a clear roadmap. I'm confident in following that roadmap and I feel accountable to it. So I'm not going to repeat my past mistakes from now until the end of 2023, a good full year. So that at the end of 2023, if I said to you, hey, looking back, if you consider now we're a year in advance and you look back on the year, I would really hope for you, and I've put a lot of work in to try and make this, increase the likelihood of this. You say, Richard, I feel content, happy, proud, successful. I feel like I finally kind of unleashed what I felt was being sort of squashed inside of me. And I feel like I maximized my full potential. I had a really good year. That was some great work, some great memories. And I'm super, super happy and successful and confident for the foreseeable future. That's what I hope. Now, you're probably thinking, yeah, right, okay, loads of people can talk the talk, Richard. What about walking the walk? So I'll just go ahead and prove this is for real and worth your full concentration. After all, documentation beats conversation. So myself personally, what the heck would you know, Richard? Well, I've passed over 1 million views on YouTube. I'm not that interesting. So for me to do that means that I've done some things well, tactically. And yes, I'm the tactics guy. I became the #1 international income earner in a previous network marketing company that had 80,000 reps. And I sponsored over 750 people to achieve that. I've built multiple six-figure coaching and online course businesses with high profit margins. I don't have to go out there and spend 1,000 to make 1,000. I have good margins whilst also living my best life. That's important. I'm not going to give you tactics and knowledge that asks you to sacrifice relationships, happiness, time with people you love in order to have flashy stuff on social media. I want you to achieve what you want to achieve, but also in the way that you're happy to achieve it. I believe that there's lots of ways to make lots of money in this type of business, but the way in which you make that money is going to dictate how you really feel about yourself and the level of happiness that you've got. That's my style. In 2021 to 2022, these aren't just some results I got in the past. Bang up to date, coming to the end of 2022, my business had almost doubled, 92% there or thereabouts. 100% is double, right? If you did 100% more than you did this year, you've doubled it. That was on the 13th of December. As I'm recording this a week or so later, in fact, it's only 2 weeks later, it crossed that 100% margin. So what I'm doing is working right now. And I've had 10 years of year-on-year record growth before that. So this is something consistent. It's not just some flash in the pan. And then if you look at some of my clients, I'm not going to go through a bunch of these. I just want to give you a taste so you can see that it isn't just me. Yeah, okay, it worked for you, Richard. What about people like me? Well, Ryan was someone that had reached a plateau. A couple of thousand a month from his business, couldn't go any further, wanted to get out of construction. Within 4 months in his network marketing business, working with me, following my tactics, some of which I'm going to share in this training, he was able to go past 20,000 a month. Again, I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm just saying this is the reality for Ryan following my approach. Mike, he had less than 2,000 total views on his YouTube channel. I do a lot of work with people on YouTube. Now he gets 30,000 monthly views. What does that mean? It means whether Mike decides to get out of bed or not, there's a minimum level of exposure and growth that occurs in his business of qualified people coming to him. In fact, he even moved. You can see his nice, happy, smiling face there. He moved over to Asia. He lives there full time. And, he's doing some great things over there, got to the top rank in his company. Jennifer, she was totally new to YouTube. So I work with people, like I said, their first big breakthrough, as well as advanced people going to their next big breakthrough. She got over 3,000 targeted views on her very first 2 videos, appointments in the diary, 14 new inbound intent-based leads. What I'm teaching is working. There's countless examples I can give you here beyond those 3, lots and lots of interviews and just bunches and bunches, massive track record of success. There's my proof of my channel going over 1 million views, 6-figure businesses, just whilst living our best life. Santa in Lapland, Northern Lights in Norway, Singapore, Marina Bay Sands swimming pool, Bali on a Tuesday, Paris, New York. We got married in whereabouts in New York was it now? The Ladies Pavilion in Central Park. We took our daughter back on our 10-year anniversary to show her where her mum and dad got married. When my daughter does history at school, that's in Berlin, we go see it for real. Lake Garda in northern Italy, that's Positano, I believe. Disney in Florida. Our dream home with a beautiful view, fields at the back, and we'll talk a little bit about how that's important in a second. Meeting some amazing people, becoming lifelong friends with industry leaders. That's me on my daughter's field trip, helping out. I got the time and the money. It's important to have both. Abseiling, just splashing around in Italy, just seeing amazing results, amazing people, amazing places, result after result. The reason I want to show you that is to show you that what I just said about making good money and having the time to enjoy it, I'm a living proof of that. I just wanted to show you I walk the walk. So let's get cracking. Step number 1, and I think I've got about 4 or 5 steps for you here. If you want to take notes, you can do that. But remember, I'm going to give you these slides so you can print them out and use them yourself if you wish to. Step number 1, dream day strategy. You can't hit a target that isn't there. This is something I live by in my business. I print this out, stick it in my office. It reminds me continually each day to focus. The red circle is where you are now. The green circle is where you truly want to be if life was exactly as you want it. Now, when you're putting time and effort and energy into your business, what you should be asking yourself is this action that you're taking, is it moving you from where you are, the red circle, to where you want to be, the green circle? Sounds simple. The best concepts, the most profitable concepts often are. So print this out when you get the slides, look at it countless times a day and ask yourself, what I'm doing right now, is it getting me closer to where I really want to be or further away? It's really, really useful to start to manage your time more effectively with that. Now we say, okay, Richard, well, where is that green circle? I have an idea, but often, especially with social media, what happens? We get dragged along with other people's ideas of what success is. Flashing the Rolex, maybe you couldn't care less, and yet you find yourself wanting to have a flashy car, flashy clothes, whatever it may be. I'm not saying that's the wrong thing to do. I'm saying that it needs to be your thing. If you want those, it needs to be because you want them, not because as you scroll on social media, people tell you you should want them, and that's what success is. Only you can know what success is for you. And this is where we begin. I don't want you on a plan or a roadmap to a destination that you don't have any interest in getting to. Because how much effort will you really invest in taking a journey if you don't even want to get to the destination? You just won't. And this is often the problem. You sabotage yourself because you're on a path that you either don't believe in or don't really want to see out. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to imagine 1 year from now, where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? How do you feel? What do you see if things went amazingly well? This is my dream day strategy. So I want you to imagine, if you're able to right now, to close your eyes, what would you even hear before you opened your eyes? I did this. Like I said, I'm teaching you what I do and what I did to create success. I imagined for the first time, I was like, I can hear birds singing. Even before I opened my eyes, I had this feeling of sort of nature, fresh air, sunlight. It's amazing when you actually think about it, what actually pops into your brain. Do this. It's really useful. And I was like, I guess I'm living somewhere with nature. And I opened my eyes and I saw big wooden beams above me. I'm like, I guess I want to live in a barn conversion or something like that. I never knew that. And I looked my eyes to the right, and thankfully it was my wife next to me, which is good news, right? And I looked out the window and I saw fields. I saw the sun coming up over a forest. And in that instant, I felt a sense of like more conviction than I'd felt in a long while, and clarity, what I really wanted, and a bit of excitement about, I actually now know what would make me feel happy. So I want you to do that for a day. I want you to imagine going through your dream day a year from now and saying, what do I see? What do I hear? If you hear waves, I guess you want to live near the beach. If you hear traffic, maybe you want to live in a city, the hustle and bustle. I'm not here to tell you what you want, but I want you to actually get clear on that for perhaps the first time ever. And if this isn't a good time to do this, add this to, you can watch the rest of the training if you want, or you can add this to sort of a watch list or a like list. I believe we can do that on YouTube. And then I want you to come back when your thinking is clear. Sometimes we're emotional. We've had a bad few days. I don't want to do this anymore. You're talking about your business, right? Is that truth or emotion? Maybe you have a good day. Oh, I think I'll stick at it. Do you really want it though? I want you to do this exercise, complete this exercise when you feel like you can calm yourself. Maybe even right now you want to pause it and go and grab a drink for a minute. Do a bit of breathing. Just calm yourself down. Turn off some things that are interfering with your concentration. Maybe if, you know what I'm saying. I want you to get yourself into the mindset where you say, you know what? I trust my thinking right now. I can be clear. I can be precise. I can be confident in creating the target that I want to hit, so that as you move through the year and your emotions inevitably get involved, you can come back to this moment and my voice right now and say, you know what? I trust the thinking I had at that time. I trust the thinking I had. I'm going to see this through. Okay, so think about where you are, location, people you're with, your appearance. People rarely have pure business problems. They often have personal problems that are mixed in and show up in their business. So maybe a large part of non-success or the plateau that you're at is the way you feel about yourself. Maybe if you've gained, a lot of weight and you're unhappy with that. I was in this position, didn't realize how much it was affecting my business because I was more hostile than I needed to be. I felt frustrated. I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I wasn't sleeping well. I wasn't eating well. So my energy was down. These things make a difference. Maybe as you do your dream day strategy, a large part of that is, I'm going to get myself in shape. Do you have material possessions? Are you charitable? If you could look at your calendar, what would you see? If you see an empty calendar, yet all you're doing right now is one-on-one calls, that gives you great business insight, doesn't it? To say, you know what, maybe I need to start looking into more automation or systems. If you enjoy people, you love talking and meeting new people, and you look down right now and your calendar is empty, maybe we need to change the other way and start to have more one-on-one input. These are the really key kind of points that will come out from this strategy, this dream day strategy, that you realize this will do so much for you. Okay. So I want you to have that. Maybe you want to pause the video and you want to go do that now. You want to get that clear vision. Maybe you want to take some notes. You want to write down that day, using that framework I just gave you. Now, step number 2, once we have that vision, where you're living, what you're doing, who you're doing it with, we need to know your numbers, because people lie, but numbers don't. Okay. So step number 2 is I want you to take a look and write down. Maybe you want to come back and do this a second time. Let's let this information wash over you for now. And then when you've got the slides, download them and complete these exercises. However you feel it will work best for you. Sometimes twice is better than just doing something once, right? So maybe just listen to me this time and come back and download the slides and repeat these exercises. But what I want you to do when you're doing this is I want you to decide and really figure out how much monthly income it's going to take for you to take that vision of that dream day out of your head and bring it into reality. You may say, well, how do I do that? Well, there's numbers going to be attached to each of those things that you thought about. If you see yourself like I did in a certain property, I went on to Rightmove, which is a UK-based, I believe they're UK-based. It's a search engine for properties. I'm sure there's one in your country, right? If you're not in the UK. You can look at the type of property that you saw yourself at. What location? Where do you want to live? Where did you feel you were? Where did you see when you drove out the driveway? Where were you? Find that area, find that property, look at what the mortgage would be. We can now write that in this table. Did you have a fancy car? Write down how much that would cost. Go on to a car website. How much would it cost to buy? How much would it be to finance or to lease or whatever? Monthly amount. Bills, vacations, any debts you want to clear. Like anything, you can fill out those spaces. Anything that goes into that vision that you just had, maybe even replacing a job income or bringing a partner out of a job, whatever it may be, get it in that table so that you have a total monthly amount of what it's going to take you to make that dream day a reality. I'll tell you what often happens before we move on to something else important at this moment in time. It's often less than what you would imagine. It actually becomes very empowering, because when I used to get dragged along by other people's ideas of success, all I used to think about was, oh man, these people are like 8 and 9 figure earners. I want to be a 9 figure earner. And then I actually asked myself the question, do I really want to give what it would take to make that amount of money every month? Would I really want to be super famous and have this massive following, but not be able to go walk my dog in my local area or go shopping with my daughter? I was like, you know what? I wouldn't exchange those things. And then I put what was my dream life really going to be like? And I wrote it out and I did this exercise. And I think my first goal, because it does grow, you can repeat this over and over again. This is an evergreen strategy I'm giving you here. This training, I'd really add this video to some kind of list that you can repeat each year as your goals and your kind of potential increase. I think my first goal was something like 11,000 a month, something like that. Now, that may sound a lot to you. It may sound not very much. I don't know where you are financially. But for me, it certainly wasn't million a month. I was like, you know what? It's a long way for me back then, but I can see myself getting there. Whereas for the past year or two, millions a month, never saw me getting there. And often how we see ourselves and even the ability to achieve something is very important. So this can be a very empowering slide right here. So you're going to break down your next time with you knowing your numbers is I want you to break down that yearly income goal into quarterly targets. So let me give you an example, just in case, like me, you're not that great with numbers. Let's say, for example, it's going to take you 12,000 a month to be able to achieve that dream day. If you had 12 grand a month coming in, 1 year from now, you'd be at that life. So what I want you to do is say, okay, well, 3 months from now, if I need to be on track to get to 12 grand a month by the end of the year, I need to be making an additional 3 grand, right? By 6 months, an additional 6 grand, by 9 months, an additional 9, so that, 1, 2, 3 months later, that's 12 months, that's 12 grand per month. It isn't going to go 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 12. So we want to break this down into quarters. Again, it helps you see it for what it is, which is achievable. If I say 12 grand, some people go, If I say 3, they go, hang on now, the ears prick up. What did you say? I could do that, right? It's trail of breadcrumbs were leading you to success. So here's a slide that I've given you that you can download. I want you to print this out, put your numbers into here, so you've got this first 3-month target to really shoot for that will set the pace for the rest of the year and get you to that ultimate goal. Now, after we've done that, I want you to break your quarterly income goals into units of required sales. So look at the business that you're using to fund this reality, to fund your life, okay? And I want you to take a look at whether it's a compensation plan, a network marketing company, or if you're making sales of a product, what the commissions are, so you can figure this out. So, for example, I may say, okay, if I'm making $100 a sale and I want to make an extra 1,000 a month. I'm going to need 10 sales a month to make that happen. 10 times $100 is $1,000, right? You see what I'm doing here. Now, only include your personal sales. I don't want you to say, well, if I get 3 superstars and they make this many extra sales. The problem with that, do you know what it is? It's disempowering. Because now we're relying on something you can't control, other people's behavior. So if you base this on only your own numbers, I'm putting you and you're putting you in total control. Now, if you get superstars, if you get great staff, great team members, whatever business you're building, that is a bonus. That means those results are going to come quicker, easier, faster than you imagined. But they're never going to be slower. So I don't want to position you to fail, to be disheartened, to say, oh man, those people didn't do what I thought. It's like having a training partner who no longer shows up for the gym. You feel less than you would have done if you'd have just been motivated yourself. So I want you to be in that position where anything that happens, it's going to help you get there better, bigger, quicker. That's what this does. And if you say, well, Richard, I have a suite of products or some team members, some customer sales, different packages, just listen. Don't overthink this. Don't procrastinate. Don't give yourself a roadblock. Use an average. On average, what is the most popular package? What is the average amount of commission you generally make if you look at your existing sales or the sales of other people in that company? Give yourself something that you're like, you know what? Yeah, that's a really good educated guess. If you don't have just one product or one level of commission, okay? It's important we complete this now so that we don't stick a pin in it and then never actually take that pin out, okay? But this is about action. Final step, I believe, in Know Your Numbers is using a 10-to-1 ratio so that we can figure out your daily required activity. It's all well and good, and you may have done this in the past, getting some numbers in place, feeling good for a day, and then when the dust settles, going, well, what do I actually need to do to achieve this? Like, what is my plan of action here? This is where most training will fall down or fail you. You've probably been through lots of goal setting. We've got plenty more than goal setting in numbers, believe me. Definitely stick around for what's to come. But often trainers will be like, hey, get really excited about this. And then they're like, okay, go do it. And you're like, well, do what? I like to get into the trenches because I've done this type of business and this work myself. So for example, if you need to make 12 sales per month to hit $3,000 in your first quarter, if $3,000 a month is 12 sales for you, then what we say is, okay, that's 3 sales each week. We've got a weekly sales. Let's use a 10-to-1 ratio. And this is not an exact science at all. It can be much better than 10-to-1 ratio, but again, I'd rather play it safe. That I would say to you, well, okay, as a starting point, let's work to the presumption that if you need to make 3 sales each week, you need to have 30 sales calls. 10-to-1 ratio, every 10 calls, 1 sale. Another level deep, we're going to say if you need 30 sales calls each week, I would suggest to you that you work on the presumption that you're going to need 300 leads. Now, leads quality varies. I pride myself on teaching the highest quality of lead and converting lead strategies. So if you're following any of my methods in those areas, especially if you're a client of mine, this 10-to-1 ratio can become massively reduced. You may only need, 30 leads that end up being like 20 sales calls and you make a whole bunch more sales. But I'm saying if you're out there on your own and you don't have any kind of proven lead generation strategies, I would work on the presumption of I need to get 300 leads. From those leads, I'll probably get 30 sales calls and I'll probably get 3 sales in total. So what this means is we can then go to the final number, which is if we need 300 leads a week, that is 42 leads per day. What has that done for you when you fill out this slide for yourself, which again, I've given you a copy of with the spaces ready for you to fill out? What this means is when I very first did this, for the first time, and maybe for you too, for the first time, you can be in a position where on a day-to-day basis, You know exactly what is required of you in your business in terms of the activity you control in order to achieve your results. All I used to do, and still do to this day, is look at that number. How many leads did I generate today? Targeted leads. They now come to me intent-based, they convert better. But even as a beginner, even if you're totally new to this level of instruction, that's great. There's a lot of room for growth, right? I'm glad you found me. I'm glad you found this. You can say, you know what? If I can get 42 leads a day, chances are that by the end of the year, I'll have hit all the numbers I want to hit. That dream day is going to become a reality. There's a real strong possibility that that can happen for you. I've done this 10 years on the bounce and helped many people do the same. Okay, so there's the slide. Again, grab the slides, print it out, put your numbers in there, stick it up somewhere, maybe put these in a folder, you flick through them every day. So what is a lead? Well, a lead is a conversation with someone who has some level of interest in what you offer. I don't just count it, you message somebody, they never got back to you. That's not a lead. This is where someone has responded. Someone reaches out. Now, the more intent or interest, the higher the likelihood of the conversions. So let's say, for example, you're using YouTube. People are searching for your content. They're finding you. They're messaging you. I love what you say. I love what you do. I want to join. Obviously, you're going to get way easier, way better conversions than if you're out there, prospecting people cold and like trying to convince them. So that 10-to-1 ratio for me plays it safe. But if those numbers are huge, you can do something to change those ratios massively in your favor. For example, I don't go 10-to-1, I go 9 out of 10 in terms of, leads to sales on sales calls, right? So you can move those into your favor. I just wanted to make that clear. Okay, step 3. Is this sinking in? Just take a breath. I know I'm giving you a lot here, but the way I create content is, okay, what do I absolutely have to teach this person to recreate the results that I've got for other people? What should I share with them? So I don't make any excuses for my content being longer, more detailed, or heavier perhaps than some of the other people out there that are just scratching the surface. I genuinely want you to win. So let's just take a breath. If you want to pause, grab a drink, that's fine. Before we move on to step number 3, which is what? Accountability. What is the use in me giving you a whole bunch of information that is interesting but of no use to you? Knowledge is not power. It is the application of power. Knowledge is just potential. What is potential? It means the ability, but you haven't done nothing yet. So if you're the only person that knows about these goals, you will stretch, reduce, cheat, excuse your way right back to your current uncomfortable spot. That is not me having a dig at you. That is self-awareness of the fact we're in the same species of human beings and we always settle into comfort, the path of least resistance. In fact, Abraham Lincoln said, I'm a success today because I had a friend who believed in me and I didn't have the heart to let him down. Everyone, even the most successful people, nearly always require something external to themselves to be able to fulfill their full potential. So how do we play this to your example? Well, what I like to do, and what I'm advising you to do, and you can take it or leave it, but I believe this and I've seen this work really well, is attach a physical, enjoyable activity to each of those 3-month, those quarterly income goals that we just set. I want you to inform the people that this physical, it actually involves, the people it involves. You can create a progress chart, have it on display where you enter or exit your property so it can't be missed. Now try slacking off in this scenario. I'll give you a fixed example from my own life. So I like to attach vacations to my goals. I love to create experiences. That's just me. You may not care less. That's me. Now, when I first started to do this, we still do this to this day. Actually, we go walking in Sherwood Forest. We live near Sherwood Forest of Robin Hood fame. We go walking on a weekend a lot of the time, especially in good weather. And as a family, we'll decide on our next vacation. Where do we want to go? What do we want to do when we're there? How do we want this vacation to go? And then I will price up that vacation and fit it into one of my quarterly goals. And I'm able to say to my family, if I work hard, my wife Rachel, my daughter Ava, if I work hard, I can make what we just discussed a reality. So remember the slides that I showed you earlier on I kind of breezed through them, but there was a lot of really cool places, experiences, memories. Those were the result of what I'm sharing with you right now. So I was able to then make a chart, like the Matharoo's, Singapore trip, the Matharoo's trip to Disney, whatever it may be. And that goes by the front door. So then when everybody comes in and out the house, me included, everybody sees what is my level of progress. Am I getting us closer to that goal? Am I on track? Now that you may go, oof, that's a lot of pressure, Richard. I'm not sure if that's for me. That I'm not telling you what to do. Like I said, that's not my style of training. I'm telling you what's worked for me and many other people like you. It's up to you how brave you want to be. If you feel this is going to crush you, maybe don't do this. But what I will say is if you want to get to the highest highs in terms of your capacity, you're going to have to learn to deal with pressure. You're going to have to learn to deal with it. Because if we want to be outside our comfort zone, if we truly want to grow, if we want to stretch ourselves, there's going to be times where you kind of pull at that shirt and go, whew, got a little bit of heat out here. So I like this. I like this feeling. I like the feeling of like, okay, this isn't just about me. I'm now accountable, not just to myself, to my actions, to other people who I care about their view of me. I care about letting them down. So I want to involve them. So this is a great way that you can give yourself amazing accountability. Letting other people know this is a line in the sand. This is what we're going to achieve. I'm going to go all out to get it. And now those people can check in on your own. Otherwise, it's like Tuesday comes around and you're like, maybe I'll do this goal in 6 months, not 3. Where does it end, right? And again, you have a slide to go and do that. Again, I've given you an example for a chart. You can print out, put your own numbers in there, and again, have that stuck somewhere. So this is a really, really good piece of advice I just gave you. It's real, simple stuff, but stuff that people aren't teaching you, and it works really, really well. Okay, step number 4, work the plan for the plan to work. You probably guessed by now, I'm not a pat your back, tickle your belly kind of guy. I'm a let's get in the trenches, roll our sleeves up and get it done. Because we are not the highest version of ourselves that we can imagine. We are the lowest version we can tolerate. Think about that. I remember the first time I read that and I was like, yes, that's good. I like a good quote that makes me itch a little bit, makes me think like, oh, Richard, are you really doing your best? I like that stuff because maybe I'm strange. I used to be I was a British ground fighting champion the year before my daughter came along, I remember going to the hospital once. I had to have my cauliflower ears operated on and we had a really tough training session. So I had a big black eye and cauliflower ears. And I remember the surgeon putting his hand on my hand and saying, was you assaulted? And I was like, no, I do this for fun. So maybe I am a bit weird about putting in work, putting in effort. I like that feeling that I earned it, that I really did something worthwhile. Maybe you feel the same. I don't know. But I liked this quote for those same reasons that I liked stretching myself in that martial art. I was like, yes, unless we really push ourselves, we settle into what we'll tolerate. Think about when you brush your teeth. You probably brush your teeth twice a day like me, in the morning and in the evening, right? If I don't brush my teeth, if somehow I've forgotten, what do? Maybe you're the same. You get in bed, something doesn't feel the same as normal. You roll your tongue around your teeth and you go, that's what it is. I got to get out of bed and clean my teeth, right? This is how I want your actions to become. You feel weird if you don't do them. If you're a client of mine, you'll know I have a very set, strict morning and evening routine that serves me really well. I feel weird if I don't do them. It isn't an effort for me. It isn't like, oh, I've got to do this routine. I'm happy to do it. I look forward to doing it because of the ROI that it gives me. I want you to feel the same about your actions. If you want to achieve your goals, you've got to turn them into irrefutable standards. I want you to accept that the benefit outweighs the effort in what I'm teaching you here. You're just going to do it. No whinging, no whining, no complaining. Sure, you have good and bad days, but you just get it done because if you don't brush those teeth twice a day, you've got no one to blame but yourself when they go brown, black, fall out, and it becomes way more of a problem to solve than it is right now. So here's some suggestions I can give to you. Have a morning and evening routine. Either you run the day or the day runs you. If you want a basic place to start, Miracle Morning is a good place. I'm not really an early riser, but I do have a set morning routine. The important part for me is that you have one. regardless of the time of the day that you really kind of do it, as long as it's first thing and last thing. Plan tomorrow today, hour by hour. Personal and professional time goes in your calendar. When I'm working right now, I'm working. My family knows. I have a do not disturb sign on my door. But when I step out of this office, I have time on my hands to do what I love with the people I love. I'm not watching the phone. I'm not straddling the two. I've not got one foot in and one foot out. I'm all in and I'm doing it well. I'm all out and I'm doing relaxation well. So hour by hour, if you show me your calendar and you have not got any preparation or planning in there, that is the reason why you're failing, or failing to at least fulfill your potential. While you're literally leaving your ability on the table, you're storing it up for the graveyard. Why would you do that? Why would you not prepare to succeed? So hour by hour, take a look at what it is you're going to be doing tomorrow so that you can have a plan of action. You can be active instead of reactive. Have a weekly meeting. What worked? What didn't? What are you going to do about that? When will you do it? You know, this one little piece on this one slide has been worth your time already. If you literally just did this, I mean, I would recommend doing what you've seen in the rest of it. Really going above and beyond is going to help you. But if all you did was reviewed at the end of every 7 days, what went well in my business? Why? How can I do more of it? What didn't go well? Why? Do I want to do more or less of it? Do I want to try again, or do I want to drop that? I remember when I used to be trying really hard to sort of, when Instagram first came out, to try and get loads of followers and things on Instagram. And then I reviewed my business. Where was my business coming from? I was like, everyone's coming from YouTube and my podcast. I'm like, but I'm only doing a minimal amount of effort over there. Why am I taking all this time, energy, and effort and putting it into this platform? I mean, you may love Instagram. I'm not telling you not to do that. I'm just saying, giving you an example. I'm like, why do I care about popularity? I'm like, no, I care about profit and impact. Okay, so why do I keep taking all this energy into this platform that is not getting me any leads, and I'm not putting it into a platform that is getting me tons of leads and I could do 20 times more? It's a good question, Richard. This is the way I speak to myself. Well, what are we going to do about it? Well, I'm going to stop caring so much about that platform and put more effort into this one. And that's what I did. And guess what? I passed 1 million views on YouTube. They're the strongest leads available. It was a really smart decision. That came about from having a weekly meeting. What will your weekly meetings uncover for you about the time, energy, and effort you're expending? And what improvements will you make? I'd love to hear. If you have a weekly meeting right now, I'd love to hear from you about what it did for you. It can be really, really revealing. So here's a little template for your weekly meeting. So again, when you get the slides, you can download these, print them out, copy them, and have one each week. Date it, fill out the tasks, and then have you put the action steps in your calendar to take action. Simple template. Okay. That concludes the chunk. I was going to say the meat and potatoes, but I'm a vegetarian. That concludes the potato and potatoes of this training. But I do have something that I was like, you know what? I get that itchy feeling again. I can't leave this out. This is really useful. I usually just keep this for clients, but I was like, you know what? Let me. I can fit this in a few minutes. It's going to be really useful for you. So here's a bonus step for you, and then I'm going to let you know how you can get these slides. An audit. Go to your last 3 months. Before we go any further, just in case any of you are what we call pillocks around here where I live, which is like a bit of an idiot. I don't think you would be. Why would you sit here and listen to me for this amount of time if you're one of those? So I think you're my kind of people, right? I think we're kindred spirits, as it were. But just in case you share this with someone and it ends up in a pillock's hands and they go, this guy's trying to give me financial advice. I'm going to try and do this. I'm going to try and sue, or, all that stupid stuff when people, looking for a handout. Let me make it clear. I am not giving you any kind of financial advice here. I have got no qualifications in that area. I am simply sharing what I have done that has helped me. You are an adult or an individual, whatever age you are, it's up to you 100% if you decide to implement anything, including this slide that I have shown you. It's entirely up to you. This isn't paid advice. This isn't contracted advice. This isn't you've got to do this. No, I'm simply here breaking down what I have done for myself and clients. If you find it helpful, great. If you don't, no problem. I just want to make that abundantly clear before we start talking about anything else, okay? Anything else. And that disclaimer has been made, okay? So audit. I found it really useful when I went through my last 3 months bank statements the very first time I did this. If you asked me the question, Richard, have you got any spare money at that time? I would have said, absolutely not. I'm at my wit's end financially. And then I looked through my bank statement under someone's advice, and I was like, actually, I'm spending way more money on certain things than I realized. Like, what can I reduce? What can I remove? If you decide to do the same thing, you may find a bunch of stuff that simply have just drifted into your finances. You've never even paid attention to them, and you could reduce or remove them. You could. Now, if that gives you additional money, you now have some choices, right? You could save it, you could invest it, you could do both, whatever you want. It's your money, right? Do what you want with it. But I'm saying that it can be very surprising how we settle into this almost financial tide, and we don't ever step above it and review. So I would say, looking back on my sort of finances, 3 month increments, every now and again, it's been really useful to reveal some of these things that I've been doing. And an extra piece of advice that, again, you can take or not, don't just start canceling a bunch of stuff if you're not sure on the terms and conditions. Like, you can't just cancel a bunch of stuff because you just don't want to pay for it if there's some kind of contract involved. So check with whatever, you're going to cancel. Okay, am I able to cancel this? Am I able to remove it? I don't want you to start getting like penalties or anything like that. Okay, just be sure on the cancellation rights that you have. But hey, this could be a way that you can make some real good progress financially. Just even if it just gives you a small budget to use on advertising or to pay down debts or whatever you want to use it for, right? And then for the next 24 hours, I want you to audit something else. I want you to audit your time. It's a really, really revealing exercise. Don't cheat and try and do this for the last 24 hours. You'll cheat. You'll glorify it. It's like when I used to be in health and fitness. I'd ask people what they ate. Can you give me a diary of what you ate over the last day? They're like 6 stone overweight, and they're like salad, glass of water. Then I went for I'm like, come on. You've got a mirror. We're going to get nowhere here if you lie. So, same with your business, same with your time. For the next 24 hours, I think I've got you covered with this as well. Yeah, I have. So I've got a sheet for you to do this on. Write on a single sheet of paper, the next one that you can print out in 30-minute increments, everything that you do. Now, obviously, when you're asleep, you're just going to get up and 8 hours later be like, I slept for 8 hours, whatever it was. But when you're awake, do not go more than 1 hour without taking notes. So don't go like 6 hours and be like, oh, what did I do this last 6 hours? No, every hour you should be writing down, okay, exactly what I did while it's fresh in your memory. Okay. Where could you save time? You may go, I don't spend that much time on social media. And then you look at your digital balance and you're like, I spent 4 hours today on social media. Okay, where did I do that? And you look at this 24-hour exercise and you're like, oh, like literally every hour I logged onto my phone. Do I really need to do that? I have 0 social media on my phone that I can scroll through. I have Messenger on there, and I have WhatsApp, simply for the direct messaging feature. I never update my status on WhatsApp. I never scroll through it. I don't use any of the features. Same with Messenger. I literally have got my activity turned off. It's just because, that's where clients communicate with me. Not clients, prospects, people tend to, message me a lot. Hey, Richard, I want your help with this or whatever it may be. But I have nothing you can scroll through. No Facebook, no Instagram, no Snapchat, whatever. Nothing you can scroll through. Why? Because it changes the way you view the world and yourself in it. And I don't want social media to be responsible for my thoughts and my time, my most precious resource, your most precious resource. You'll never get it back, right? So start to think about where you want to invest your time by doing this exercise. Where could you make improvements? Is it personally? Is there nothing fun for you to look forward to? Do you not have any time when you're really purely enjoying yourself? Do you watch 6 episodes on Netflix instead of 3? Could you still watch Netflix, enjoy 3 episodes and have 3, half an hour in your business? Lots of opportunity, relationships, personally, professionally. When you do this exercise, you can actually start to see where the wastage is. And cut that out and really make a difference. So I'll give you a sheet to take care of that. Okay, so did you get value? Was this useful? Hopefully you learned at least something useful, maybe one tactic, one tip where you're like, okay, yeah, that could make a difference to me. That could be helpful. Hopefully a whole bunch of it has been useful, because if you stack it on top of each other cumulatively, you can, I believe, see some really, really life-changing results. The reason I say that is because it's done that for me and continues to do the same. Like I showed you at the beginning, double in my business this last 12 months. And the 12 months before that was pretty good. Helping lots of other people do really well in their businesses, especially network marketing, family time, vacations, experiences. We just got back from, chocolate making in Brussels. If you follow me, you'll have seen this, right? Chocolate making in Brussels, Christmas markets, just amazing experiences. We do them all the time. And it all begins with this process. This process is where it starts for me and always has done, probably always will do. So hopefully you've enjoyed me sharing this with you. And as promised, I'm a man of my word. Now is the time for action. I want you to download the slides, complete them, print them out, display them as necessary. I mean, there's so much more I can teach you to grow your business and personal success, but I don't want to make this too long. It's about 45 minutes now. I think that's as long as I want to, take this presentation. So if you want these slides, how do you access them? Number one, I want you to comment slides beneath here. When you do that, I'm going to go check my my messenger. I do that twice max, sometimes once a day. So give me a day or two max, but once or twice a day, I check my messages. I'll look for your name, your face, since you've commented on this video. And I will then be able to reply back to that message with a direct link for you to access and download these for free. I don't need your email. I don't need your details. I don't need anything. Literally just comment underneath this video slides. I'll go check my DMs. I'll see you in there. I'll reply back with a link where you can click that link, and then you'll be able to download those for free. Now, if you want to keep these digital, I do everything through Google Drive. So if you want to keep a copy digitally, maybe you want to print them, maybe you don't, go File, Make a Copy. So click the link that I'll send you. It will open up. Click File, Make a Copy. Then you're able to actually have a copy of these slides for yourself that you can actually amend. If you just want to print them out, you can just go File, Download. But if you actually want a digital copy that you can amend, obviously you can't amend the original. It changes it for everybody. So click File and Make a Copy. But I'll probably give you instructions to that when I reply to your DM with the link to access. And that's it. I've got one more thing for you. If you're like, that was pretty good, I enjoyed that, like your energy, like your approach, I feel like I could either ask you a question or get more from you. How do I do that? The best place, my YouTube channel for sure. If you're watching this on YouTube, you could subscribe here. I have a podcast. But if you go to www.joinrichardsgroup.com, that is my free group for ambitious network marketers. So I share a lot of strategies in there. There's regular bonus training. I even do live coaching in there, and it's all free. There's no favoritism to particular companies. I no longer build a network marketing company as a rep. So if you think, oh, this guy's going to dangle a carrot and then try and recruit me, nope, not going to happen. The way that I make money, if you want to know, is I offer a coaching program. Some people from that group or who watch my YouTube content reach out to me and be like, I've got money, I want to invest in my business and potentially like to do that with you. That's it. I have a very, very simple business model. I put as much as I can out there for free to help any network marketer succeed. There are thankfully a growing percentage of that audience that want to work with me. Everybody wins. There is no pressure from me either way. You're not going to get in that group and be expected to buy anything. I lay it out there to help you. If you want to become a client, you can let me know and we can take it from there. But there is no pressure. Like I said, there's nothing for sale here. The same in that group. There will be no pressure. You just get a bunch of bonus training, deep high-level strategies, and live coaching, Q&As, that type of thing. I think it's about 1,500, 1,600 people in that group already, helping people get a lot of results. If you're an ambitious network marketer, you like my approach, I think you get a lot of value. I know you get a lot of value from that group. And like I said, everything in there is absolutely free. Okay, so we're coming up to 50 minutes. I'd talk about this stuff all day if I let myself. Well, I've allocated 60 minutes to complete this task before I get on with my day and go do some other fun stuff. So I want to respect that time of myself and of you. I've shared a whole bunch of content there, which could be really useful for you if you implement it. Remember to comment slides, send me a direct message. I've put my Facebook profile link in the top comment. So if you're like, where do I message you, Richard? You can just click that. It's my personal profile, and you're able to just shoot me a message saying like, hey, message you on YouTube about the slides, maybe give me a channel name or something. I'm like, oh yeah, I saw that. Here's the slides. I did think about just putting a link to the slides on here, but you know what? When I've done that in the past, it can go crazy. Like literally, because people haven't actually watched the video, like I just got so many people trying to amend the originals. I couldn't give them any instructions. It got out there to like loads and loads of different people. And I don't know, I just felt like it devalued it. Like people weren't really taking it seriously, even though it was super popular. So I took it down, and I'm re-uploading it this way, sort of saying, hey, message me so I can give you it. That way I know you're serious. You've watched the video. I put the instructions at the end on a purpose, as opposed to just a link that you could watch 10 seconds and just, I'll download the slides. This way I feel better that you're going to do the work and that you're serious about implementation, which is my ultimate aim for this training, your success, you winning in life. Anyway, as I always say, go create a day in a life that counts. Always have more desires than excuses. I look forward to hearing about the results that you've gained, the progress you've made from this training. And I look forward to putting those slides in your hands so you can implement all of this immediately. And I look forward to you having hopefully the best year you've ever had. Have a good one. I've enjoyed our time together. I hope you have as well. And bye for now.